Hi, it's Erin Birch and it's Facebook Live. And I'm the founder of the Birch Method. And I have a question for you. When does aging happen? Well, the obvious answer is that aging happens when you're old. It's so obvious. Let's explore that a bit today, shall we? So what actually is aging? Well, we know that there are a lot of changes that happen in our physical body as time goes on. And so we've all sort of just assumed that these changes are normal parts of aging. You know, the skin changes, it gets thinner, and the hair turns gray, and the musculoskeletal system changes, the bone density changes, and the muscles get weaker with age, and they're not as plump, and there's a decrease in function, potentially a loss of memory. There's just a general slowing of things and a decline, a slowing of our digestive system. So there's changes in our whole body, everything. There's changes in our organs, there's changes in our heart, our lungs. So all of this happens, right? That's sort of normal. So today I just want to talk about the musculoskeletal system because that's the area that I have done my research in. But if you think about it, Jack LaLanne, who was 70 when he lived till 96, and he was doing workouts like the day before. And so when he was 70, he was handcuffed and he was shackled, and he pulled, I think, 100 boats. Wow, this is going to be interesting. He pulled 100 boats, 1 mile swimming, which is kind of an amazing thing. So my jerry rigging just collapsed. Anyway, and then there's other stories of how you can increase strength all the time. There's a story of Fatima, of a Persian story of a woman who hoisted a newborn calf over her shoulders and went up 60 steps. And then she did that every single day, every day. And she increased her strength. And also Milo, the Grecian wrestler, who was, one of the best wrestlers ever in Greece, did the same thing. So he would walk around the town with a calf on his shoulders, and it would increase his strength because, of course, as the calf grew in size, he would grow in strength. And so it's what you do every day that really has more of an impact on your strength, not just the rigors of time. So also aging is defined by how you move. And if you think about it, if I was sitting here and I was all hunched over and I was like this, you would think that I was older than I am. And if I'm looking like this and I'm animated and things are moving, I've got moving parts, then you're going to experience me as being younger. Even though you don't cognitively necessarily think about it, it's the impression that makes. So does aging happen in old age? Well, I felt kids as young as 3, and I felt what I would call dysfunctions in their body. And dysfunctions are like a malfunction of their structure, or like a pattern of tension where it doesn't belong, or a misuse or a misunderstanding of how to use the body. And I felt that in kids as young as 3. And the question is, does that magically just go away as they get older? No, it doesn't. What happens is that stays in there, and our body is a remarkable adaptive machine. It really does an amazing job, but it stays in there, and it may not cause pain for decades, but it doesn't go away. And I remember one time when I was in Massachusetts, I was volunteering for a project graduation. And what I was doing is just kind of doing a little bit of massage or whatever. It's not really what I normally do, but I wanted to volunteer. And what I felt was, again, these are kids, right? They're 17, 18, 19 years old. And I felt a lot of things in their body that really concerned me. And I mentioned it to a couple people. But of course, because if you're not feeling pain, there's no flags, right? There's no reason to do anything about it. Or is there? Because again, does that just go away? And if you are feeling pain, you're farther along the process. I have a 22-year-old client who comes to me. He was in chronic pain for the last 2 years, and he's got, changes in his structure. His neck is, the curve in his neck that's supposed to be there is no longer there. And what's he going to do if he doesn't get what he needs? What's going to happen? Is that just going to go away? No, that's going to continue on and on and on for the next few decades. It's going to make his life a living hell, honestly. And that's what had happened to me. I was 35, I wasn't 22, but when I was 35, I was noticing decline in my body month by month by month. And this was really frightening to me. So, of course, I'm here talking about all of this stuff because I figured it out. And I know how to reverse aging because I did it for myself. I did it with countless others. I've actually got a client now as well who, and I spoke about him in another video, but he had bone-on-bone knee diagnosis. Confirmed by x-rays, all that stuff, and thinking, oh my God, I have to go for surgery. And also so 17 years ago, he had knee surgery. He had a very bad injury. He had his ACL replaced. He went through the whole thing. And his leg was actually bow-legged in a really bad way. And he had lost about 15 or 20 degrees in his range of motion. And you would think, well, 17 years, there's nothing I can do with that, right? Well, actually, it's not true. In the past several weeks, we've been reversing all of that. So he's not limping anymore. He's not in pain anymore. He can hike without having a problem. I've taught him how to walk better, and he's noticing his alignment more, so he's not getting himself into trouble. And his bow-leggedness is almost the same as the other one. It's really remarkable. And the range is coming back. So it doesn't matter. If you know how to work with the design, it just works. So if we had not done anything with that, he would have had surgery. There would have been, lots of consequences from the surgery, good and bad. These things matter. Whenever you introduce a surgical procedure into the body, it changes things inevitably. So aging is not really an effect completely of time. Aging is about what happens over time. In other words, if there's a dysfunction in the system and that dysfunction is left in there over time, that's going to cause more and more and more of a problem. However, if alignment is what's going on, then you're not going to have the same impact. That's going to be okay. So aging is really more a function of misuse and misunderstanding of the body than just a pure function of time. Now, of course, time will magnify dysfunction. No question. No question at all. And in fact, that's really the problem, isn't it? I want to talk about tension in the next episode, so stay with me. I've got a lot to share that's going to be hugely important for your comfort on a day-to-day basis. So I just want you to start thinking about aging in a very different way. Start thinking about the things that are happening in your body, the pains, the tensions, the dysfunctions, the things that don't quite work well that you sort of tend to dismiss. I want you to start paying attention to those because those are really flags. Okay. I really enjoyed being with you today. My name's Erin Birch, founder of the Birch Method, and the future of your body starts right now.